Whoa! Hello there, Travis. What are we actually seeing starts to get complicated? It was easy. It will start to separate. Are definitely not behind that restricted access grid. They're not. Forget about it.
None of them will be able to be revived.
So please, be reasonable. Age returning to the orientation you usually is the part of traditional. A stabby, but I don't think. And those rectangular outcroppings weren't. Here is my Catwoman glove and glove. I should have a floating, impossible anti-gravity blah blah blah. Now, if we were to take it, snapshots, eventually, how do you translate a discrete shell?
Well, Ari, we've been tracking this thing for weeks and we still don't know what it is.
The basilisk has its eyes on you. What are you going to do? And at some point, the acceleration is going to get so high that you're going to pass 9.8 meters. Look, I know that neither of those examples were fun. A screaming fish on this side would never be fun, leaving me weightless no matter where I am. What the? We generate our truth endogenously or within our own bodies. I give killer high fives. Is it? Is it? This theory is only one of a dozen. Okay, good, because it's rock, paper, scissors. Where are you right now? Bam. The finger-laser. That finger-laser. Isn't that wild? Finger-laser.
It is good coffee. Oh, I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Have you seen it down here? It's not going super hot. Yeah, no, I've been gone for a month because, a combination of not having anything to talk about. I'm pushing out updates about this, that, and the other thing, and what? Well, yeah, if they can keep it warm for that long, I suppose that, yeah, once they get my order in the Andromeda Galaxy, yeah, two large pepperonis. They don't know what pepperonis are. Well, I guess that's the problem. Hope they don't annihilate us. What's that? Oh. Yeah. Sure, I'll vote no on that proposition. Who are you? How'd you get this number? Love you. Bye. Hello! Hello, chat. And welcome to Office Hours, the live component of the facility where good old Professor Kyle does some sort of digital trickery and then allows all of you members of the facility, my security team, Heather, Jabo, all of you lovely members of the general public who ignored my warning signs, which were copious, and now I even have pinned versions of them that you can buy, and come into the facility to see what we can learn for about the next hour or so. For all you newbies, happy to see you here in the chat for the next hour or so. We will be talking science, this, that, and the other thing, hair care tips, what have you. We will do a number of regular topics, as I am wont to do. We'll talk about We will be talking about a new message to send to any aliens who might be listening. We'll be talking about the first full sequencing of the human genome, if I feel like it. I don't have that much to say about it. And we'll be talking about all your comments, questions, and corrections from the latest episode of the facility, which just happens to be about Elden Ring, poor tarnished. But, of course, if you want to continue on this conversation after we are live, you can always go to the facility, patreon.com/Kyle Hill. Join the facility today. Get our official Discord. Videos early. I'm posting bloopers now, which we'll have tomorrow. And if you really, really, really want me to see something here, you can try Super Chat, as Liz Calvert does every single week. One of our most supportive professors. Yay, Science Kyle, you're back. My tiny human Alex has a question again this week. Hey, Alex, I hope school is going well for you, buddy. Are there other dimensions like the Nether in Minecraft? Well, we have, in the next 2 weeks, we have an episode about quantum mechanics coming out with Marvel's personal quantum mechanics science advisor, and we go into some alternate universe reality stuff. But if I am to believe his interpretation of the mathematics and whatnot, as why wouldn't I? He's an expert. He quite confidently believes in an infinite number of overlapping realities and universes through which we find ourselves in only the aggregate. We find ourselves as an aggregate of all of them, experiencing one. So, to answer Tiny Human Alex's question, are there alternate dimensions like the Nether? There's a possible universe if... Let me put it this way. In a view of multiple universes, in infinite universes, any universe in which a choice can be different or conditions of that universe could be different within the known laws of physics, that universe happens, or is happening, or happened. So, yes, there could be a Nether if it's possible. If it's possible, then it happened. Or is happening. Weird, right? Grin Reaper of Trolls with the 1999 says, "Hey Kyle, I'm technically officially a molecular biologist. I used CRISPR in class today to make lactose intolerant E. coli." Says Grin Reaper. Nothing quite like doing real science, huh? Nothing quite like changing stuff. Mr. Mars with the 499 says, "What happened to Because Science?" I did that show every single week for 5 years, and then I was like, you know what? This is cool too. So I was doing this. I can't say anything else other than that. Jason Lowenthal with the 10 says, "I can't really stay tonight because of redacted simping for science. Show the Kyle." That's what we're doing, Jason. Thank you for always being here and in the facility Discord. Happy to catch you live, says Lucien Pouthier. Private Eye. So, today, like I said, we'll be hopping in to Alien Message, first and foremost. But as we talk today, as I do my little interactive lectures, as I do, if you have comments and questions, I'll be keeping an eye on the chat the whole time, if you're interested. I wonder what the location looks like when you're not in the facility. I imagine it's a sea of green. I have no idea what you're talking about. You're... What? So, good Nixie says, "Good morning from Australia." Gunstick in the chat, finally unbanned. Greetings from Luxembourg. He didn't do anything. I just didn't know how to unban him. Finally caught a show live, says Vasia Ua. That reminded me, I did this for the Patreon-only live stream a couple days ago, but I know there's a lot of Australians who watch the show, and I've actually been working on my Australian accent. So, if you donate in Australian money dollars, I will read whatever you have to say in a perfectly accurate Australian accent. You know, it's not you can rate me, all right? Chris Reese with a 5 says, "Kyle, someone accidentally let Kevin into that cage on level 8 again. It wasn't me, I swear." Love you. It's Chris. I wouldn't worry about the fate of a Kevin in the cages on level 8. It's kind of gonna sort itself out, if you know what I mean. Long time, first time, Tim Ackenhurst, welcome. Sorry, I've spent the last month building up a resistance to iocane powder. Okay, so almost. Uh-oh. 1 second. I challenged a Sicilian when death was on the line. Just a second. I haven't spoken live for a while. So this might be a continuous issue, which is perfect when you're starting an hour-long stream. Fantastic. So about 50 years ago, we used I'm dying just slowly. About 50 years ago, we used a giant telescope, the Arecibo telescope, to send a message out into space. Bill Swenson says, how do you not speak live? Don't we always speak live? No, I mostly speak in my head, to myself, all day. So we sent out a message to the cosmos, famously crafted by Frank Drake, the Drake equation, and Carl Sagan. This was sent out by the Arecibo telescope, as I said, famous from GoldenEye and recently failing and destroying itself. That was 50 years ago. And 50 years ago, we sent a very basic message out into the cosmos for any aliens that might have the capacity to listen. The idea was to send a directed beam of information at a specific spot in the night sky that we thought might be promising, just to see if we could make any contact. And you can see how Carl Sagan has been thinking about was thinking about contact for a long time. But now, chat, as of a couple days ago, a new team headed by a scientist from JPL and other places, we have a new updated message that we could now send into space. And at the time of this recording, when I had the poll up in the chat, 55% of you to 45% said that we should make ourselves known to any aliens. And this is something that I want to return to because it's kind of controversial. Trin with the 1999, first time catching you live. Been working lately on building a collapsible 3-meter radio telescope for comet and asteroid hunting, so I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about radio astronomy today. Trin, sounds super complicated. I hope everything goes well. So, we will return to this controversial question. Should we make ourselves known? But the first, more sciencey question, and I want to have a little, let's have a little learning session today with you. How do we send that message, right? We can't just tweet at them, even though Elon is probably going to want to do that. We can't use human words. And what do we send them? What's important to tell a different species that may have zero resemblance to our own or your own? I'm not. So what do we send them? Well, the new paper, which I can link in the chat afterwards, says we send this. Now, this is basically like PowerPoint slides, kind of, in terms of information. So you can see on the top left, pages 1 through 4, 5 through 8, 9 through 13, starting with the top left, ending with the bottom right. And this is more or less the message that, well, it's not more or less, this is the message that would be sent to aliens listening. What does it say, and what should it say? Sex Drugs says, please come probe our butts. Why would you start with the... Anyway, so starting with the top left corner, we're not going to go through all of these. Tyler, welcome. We're not going to go through all of these. But I want... Now, don't look this up, chat. Don't look up the actual answers to this, because I want to get at... Don't look up the translation for this just yet. I want to see... I want you to put yourself in an alien's shoes. How good is this message? We should be able to interpret it like an alien. Assume that you know nothing about this, and given that they're all bleeps and bloops over there, you don't know anything about it. So how... Put yourself in an alien's shoes. We're over in Gleep Glorp 5. We receive a weird message, a radio, tight beam radio, which would be a cool name for the moon's radio station. It plays only the greatest 80s regolith hits. That's a moon geology joke. You can have that one for free. So, imagine that we're on Gleep Glorp 5. We receive a weird tight beam. And what first comes out after we do a little transposing looks like that. Okay? Now, some of you in the chat are already way ahead of me. Don't cheat. Don't look up this study. Just let's go through it like aliens, because I think we can learn something. So where should we start? So I'll give you a hint. These authors of this message had the idea, or have the notion, which I think is a good one, that the most basic way to send information, the most basic way to send information is in a binary state. So a 1 or a 0, a yes or a no, a true or a false. Maybe they don't have that concept, but for us, binary is super easy. Yes or no, off or on. This is how every logic processing thing in our society works. So knowing that they're basing this on binary, which they're assuming if aliens are intelligent and can receive our message, binary will be something that they can either understand or quickly figure out. Now look at this first slide of the alien message. We have no dots. Moving to the right, we have 1 dot, then 2 dot, then 3 dot. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up to 10 dots in the bottom left. That indicates to me that we're showing some sort of base 10, because it goes from 10 and then it ends at 20 again. Okay? So first thing that we're doing is we're showing aliens our numeric system. That we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and when the digits start to repeat after 10, right? So we have a base 10 numerical, at least dot system. But then next to those dots, we're also showing them actual binary language that we use. So 0 to 1 to 2, you can interpret those X's and O's as 1s and 0s, and that's actual binary. Now, what an alien, or what I would like to do, is that if we think that these dots are our numbering system, which we can infer is base 10 because it's repeating after the 9. Now, if I was an alien, which I'm not, you can't prove that, we have a repeating symbol on the left of that binary and then a new symbol. So a repeating symbol, then a new symbol. So the symbol's the same on the left, but on the right, it's different. I would guess that these numbers on the right are the symbols for that binary number. Like 0 dots equals this. Now, keep some of those figures in your mind. Okay. Let's go down to this section down here that looks like gobbledygook from Star Wars. The first symbol is the symbol for 2. The next symbol is a symbol for 3, or 3 dot. Next one is 5. Next one is 7. Next one is 11. 3, 5, 7, and 11 are all prime numbers. And indeed, going through the rest of that gobbledygook, those are primes. Now, why open with a set of prime numbers, chat? Their thinking is that it's very unlikely that any natural source, non-technological, non-civilization-based source, would have a string of prime numbers, because prime numbers themselves are quite rare. So to have prime numbers, numbers that can only be divided by them, you can only divide them by 1 or themselves, defines a prime. It shows that this is, as Aaron Coach is saying, shows some kind of intelligence, shows some intent, that it's not it's not a natural, it's not a quasar spinning somewhere in Gleep Glorp 7, sending out tick 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 tick. So they're including these string of primes at the beginning and at the end of the message to show, no matter which way they read it, that there's some intention here. I'm a total dummy, says AJ, but I'm really happy I could decrypt any part of this all by myself. Well, let's continue then. The next is this. The next slide. Again, we won't go through all these, but I want you to put yourself in an alien's shoes. It's interesting. Now, the first symbols that I see in the top left are, going back to the first slide, the symbol that corresponds to 1, and then I see another 1 above it, kind of. I see what we were interpreting as the equal sign, and then the symbol for 1 again. So now what are these? I'll give you a second while I acknowledge T-Love, the Silver Lurker. Kyle, my guy, I hope you're doing well, but I've already said too much. Back to the shadows I lurk with a $100 donation. The Silver Lurker coming in with a Benji Silver. Thank you. Oh, wait. Don't come back. It's too late. They're gone. I wanted to ignore. Damn. What a badass. So I'm interpreting this top left to say, because I'm familiar with mathematics, right? How do you get 1, 1 equals 1? Well, one way to get that is 1 to the power of 1 equals 1. Okay. Going to the right on the same row. 2 to the power of 1 equals 2. Going down. 1 to the power of 2 equals 1. 1 to the power of 3 equals 1. So it looks like we're showing some basic arithmetic here, right? We now have basic arithmetic, and we introduce some new signs. Where am I? Yeah. So we have some new signs and symbols here. And remember, this is our 10 symbol or our 0 symbol, right? So here we have what? 10, 1, 0, right here where I'm pointing on the left of this. 1, 0 to the power of what? That's our 2 symbol, equal symbol, 100. So now we're going through basic arithmetic. What we're doing, more importantly, with this message is to establish a basis through which we can communicate. So once we have a binary, we've established we're talking in binary, we've established we have a base 10 number system, now we can start communicating with them with numbers against things that are known in the universe if they study the universe in a similar way, and then we can communicate. This is fun, says Steve Blount. Liz says, Kyle, my mom keeps bugging me, so I need to tell you my mom says hi. She wants to know you're getting enough to eat and gargle salt water for the throat. I'm all in on lean cuisine these days. Tell your mom I'm fine. Getting so many miles on the bike in. It's great. So now we move on. Chat, what do you think this Chad, what do you think this represents? Clearly, this is human male, human female, as the most general of depictions. Of course, not every man, not every woman looks like this. Not every man, woman, male, female, he, she, they would say they look like that. But this is a basic way that if we had to narrow down, if we just did the most general bell curvy, what do humans look like? Something like this, not that bad. But I want to draw your attention to the left and the right of this image. So chat, let's start. What do those dots on the left side of the dude's thigh mean? Think about it. Look at it. Look at those dots. Those are very intentionally placed and spaced dots. No, it's not height. It's not height. Sizes, no. Organs, no. Height, no. Height, no, no. Bleep bloop, no. Gravity. James White in the chat is the first person to recognize that that is showing that we understand gravitational acceleration. A falling object moving in a parabolic trajectory being at a location that implies not constant velocity but acceleration. To the left of the guy's thigh, those dots represent gravity. Shep says, why would we need new number symbols? I think it has to do with the coding, which is pretty complicated. Because you can't show a 9 in binary without being. The section in the paper about this is so complicated. They don't even put it in the paper, so they can explain it better when I link to the study. Bullwick with the 5. Why are we sending unwanted nudes to the aliens? This is why they're not responding. Well, we can get to that. Now, if the left side of the dude's thigh is gravity, what's the right side of the lady? I think everyone can and has picked out that that's DNA, but what specifically? What is that? Yeah, it is DNA. Some Rye Hash is the first person in the chat to correctly identify that the right is showing combining DNA for reproduction. So, we people look like this. We know what gravity is. And it's because the aliens might not know what DNA is. They might not even have DNA, but it's implying that two things become one thing. So if they know what sexual reproduction is, two strands of that helix, one strand from each coming together into a new strand. That's human replication. Now we only have 2 more. I'm only going to go through 2 more slides with you, chat, but I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. Now, chat, what does this show? This is an easy one. I skipped a couple of slides that is also outlining the chemical structure of DNA. So note that there's more. Yes, everyone in the chat. Yes. So I skipped a couple slides here. Boop, boop. So up there, see on the bottom of the center column, that's outlining the chemical structure of DNA. So it's not just introducing them to DNA for the first time, but as everyone is saying, this is showing the location of Earth in the solar system. It should be pretty easy for any alien civilization looking at a solar system. They probably know what a solar system is if they navigate them. That the giant thing is the sun. The biggest thing that you can't even scale correctly is the sun, and we are the third from it. Now, that is the symbol the scientists are choosing to use for Earth. I'll put a link after this is live. Don't worry. To the study. Now, that's the symbol they're going to use for Earth, which is important for the last part of the slide, which leads us into our potential controversy. Scott Morgan says they knew to leave off Pluto. Well, Pluto's not a planet. So the last slide is this. Right here, baby. Now, that's the symbol that the scientists are using for Earth. That's the symbol for Earth. So this dot over here means Earth. And then, what do you think this means, chat? What do you think this bad boy means? Hydrogen wavelength, no. Molecule, no. Magnetism, no. It's showing some sort of wave, that's true. Radio transmission, light wavelengths, broadcast, phone home. So I'm going to give it I'm going to give it to Murder Mafia. Murder. Oh, no, that's not Murder Mafia. Now 3D Cyclops says in the chat, says phone home. This, Stephen Reel, with a check mark, so he must be important, says frequency. Also correct. So if this is the signal for Earth, we are showing that the wavelength, what you want to go to Earth or back from Earth, is this symbol, which if we think back to our language before, I see a 0, I see a 0, I see more numbers. As Real points out in the chat, this is a frequency. Ha! This is the frequency at which the scientists are saying, call us back. Frequency to contact says laserith. Exactly. So the scientists say in this message, if you get this message, you can call us back at this number, 867-5309. Wouldn't that be funny if that's what they used? I gotta check which one they actually use. Rickroll some aliens. I mean, I know it's not the same. Shut up. The frequency they're using is 2,380 megahertz. So it's not 8675309. Trin with the 999. How do we know aliens don't think asteroids or comets are planets? They might look at that diagram and say, oh, that's not the humans. The humans have an asteroid belt and an Oort cloud. Huh. So if I was an alien, which I'm not, if you're showing perfectly or nearly spherical things like this, the only way... So you're showing... So if I was looking at this as an alien, I'm not. You have a solar system, you have a giant thing that can't even fit in the thing, in the slide. That's got to be the sun, right? These other things might, since they are different sizes, they might be relatively sized in this, which means relative to this giant thing, these things are pretty big, right? Relatively speaking. They're pretty big. An asteroid compared to the sun, you would not see in this scale, right? And they would also, or I would also infer, if I was an alien, that the only way to be spherical, stars are basically perfectly spherical. The only way to be basically spherical in space is to have enough mass, to have enough gravity to overcome the forces inside of materials. That is to say, you have so much mass that even stuff like rock can move like liquid, and liquid, with forces pressing in on it from all directions, which is gravity, forms a sphere. So that's one of our definitions for a planet. It has enough mass to spherify itself. So all that, you might think that the humans don't live on an asteroid or something like that. Probably a larger object answering Trin. So, now we get to the semi-controversial part. And like I said, 55% of you at the beginning of this episode said that we should send this out. That we should send this message out to the universe, letting any potential extraterrestrials that have the equipment to listen that we should do that. We should tell them where Earth is. Now, famously, Stephen Hawking, a couple weeks or months before he died, what is the dark... People keep saying the dark forest theory. I'll look it up later, all right? Oh, Fermi paradox stuff? Sure. I'll look it up later. Leave me alone. Famously, Stephen Hawking said right before he died that we should not send out messages like this. What do you think, Chet? We're this close to destroying ourselves anyway. I say, let's do it. This is a bad idea. Don't send the signal. Jeff Goldblum would definitely advise against it. Oh, it's a Kurzgesagt video already? Well, then I can't do it now. Only, chat, you know that only one person, only one creator can do any one topic. If anyone does any other Demon Core videos, I'm legally required to go into their chat and shame them. You know that. Maybe it's not really a good or bad idea, says Titanoman. Are you sure about that? I have a lot of back and forth in the chat. As you can see, y'all are going crazy up there. This is a bad idea. Groundhog with the 5 says, hey, Kyle, do you think aliens could have seen our previous message and are trying to contact us? I suppose it's possible. Depends on how far away they are. You know, we if they're 1,000 light years away, we wouldn't get a message back at the speed of light for 1,000 years, right? Joseph Wilson says, I got the ultimate mystery for you, though, Kyle. Cotton Eye Joe. Where did he come from? Where did he go? Well, I actually looked up that song the other day for Don't Worry About It reasons. And the full lyrics are he steals another man's lady. And that's why that guy would have been married a long time ago. But it was Cotton Eye Joe's fault for taking his lady to Tennessee or something. Who cares? Okay, so I see a lot of controversy in the chat. So let me weigh in a little bit. There are two, there's a million different ways this can go down, but there's two general buckets that this contact could fall into, right? Good or bad. Be totally fine. Peaceful aliens, or something bad. A good outcome or a bad outcome. Now, I like to think about these things this way. Without speculating about what these aliens look like, how they think, what technology they have, how many holes they have in their bodies. I don't know why I said that. Regardless of their holes, do you think there are more good ways for contact to go down or more bad ways for contact to go down? Now, of course, we only have a data point of 1 with our own species and with our own contact with other peoples on our same planet. Greypox TV says, we should send you as our emissary. I don't know. I don't know if I'd do so hot in space. I'm kind of claustrophobic. But it would be cool. To be the guy who made first contact, it would make me immortal. So, maybe. I need some tentacles in my life, says Dinkle Suck. Everything I just said, I hated. Channel Carl Sagan, bro, says Eyeliner Witch. Chris Anderson says, Kyle? No way. All he does is send memes. I have a calendar that reminds me to send a meme on the YouTube community channel every day. So you're welcome. Do you know why? Engagement, you dork. So, my first crack at this would be to say that there are probably many, many, many more times, more bad ways for this to go down than a good way. Where thinking logically, or what I interpret to be logically, a lot of things have to go right. A lot of things have to go right to make first contact beneficial for our species, right? It'd be really good if they could understand this message, if they were peaceful or benevolent, or even if they were like super intelligent compared to us, they didn't need to destroy us. They didn't need our resources. None of that. A lot of things have to go pretty have to be pretty fine-tuned, in my opinion, to have first contact live up to the expectation that we would have. However, on the flip side, just one thing could be wrong or bad, and it would make the whole thing bad, right? What if what if they were so advanced that even like their basic, you know, the equivalent of their spear was like the equivalent of our nuclear weapon? You know what I mean? Or what if they didn't, some Steve on Gleep Glorp 5 accidentally didn't have full decontamination before first contact, and like people coming to the new world in our own history, an alien virus or prion or equivalent of bacteria or whatever completely wipes us out. And they have no fault, and they didn't want to do that. And I know everything I just mentioned are pretty, different examples, but I can think of so many more examples where things go wrong than where things go right. And that made me think of a wild fact. I was listening to Hardcore History with Dan Carlin the other day, and encountering foreign or alien, in this case, diseases is so bad when you have no immunity to them or no evolutionary experience with them. When I was a kid, I got the impression from American civics class that when people came to the New World and they interacted with Native Americans and they fought with them, that there were a lot of Native Americans. USA kind of civics propaganda gives kids the idea, and this, I can say that because of the fact I'm about to tell you, gives you the idea that there was, it was a whole civilization, millions of people, tens of millions of people fighting back against the conquering of their land. I was listening to Dan Carlin, and after first contact, alien disease from Europe and other places coming to the New World, alien disease was so bad, by the time that the fighting really started, there was less than 600,000 Native Americans in the entire U.S. It's either the entire population or warriors. I forget which is the case, but think about that. This also happened in the 1800s. The vast majority of people are completely wiped out by disease. It's almost, and Dan put it this way, it's almost like, going through going to the other coast in the United States. It was like exploring a ghost town, completely ravaged by disease. So I bring up that historical example because there are a million ways where something like that could happen with aliens. Joseph Hughes with the 20 says, if we're going to spread out into the cosmos, we need to at least understand who we'll be sharing the space with and plan accordingly. Sounds kind of hard. Adam Frost with the New Zealand 34.99, not Australian, so I won't do the accent. Hey, Kyle, related question from this conversation. So many movies and shows have aliens coming to take Earth resources. Do we actually have that unique of resources compared to other planets? I actually don't know how, I actually don't know what the composition of Earth is like relative to other exoplanets that we know of. One of the main way, or the main way, I think we identify exoplanets is through the transit method. We're just looking at the light, the dimming of light around a star. And so you can look and you can get the size of the planet from that, and the atmosphere, if you're lucky, kind of a planet from that through spectroscopy. But it's hard to, I imagine, It's probably impossible to get the composition of an exoplanet. So I don't think we have enough data outside of the solar system to say whether or not Earth has really amazing or unique resources. My guess is that just like everything, it's average. Majorly awesome with a 20. It says, who's to say an alien biologist an alien's biology would be similar enough for a disease to infect us successfully? There's animal diseases here that give us the cold shoulder. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm saying you can think the possibility of that being the case across every possible alien biological thing that could do us harm. Those are that the subset of that is much larger than the things that have to go right. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's likely. I don't know. Maybe it's super likely. I don't. Anyway, so I think we have spurred enough conversation about this. I encourage you to think about it. Should we send out a message? I don't know. Let me know in the comments after this is live. But no matter what you think of it, make sure you're liking that video, bro. Okay. Oh, we're still here. Peer review, as I'm wont to do in every episode of Office Hours. I like to look at the latest comments and questions from the latest episode of the facility and then make one of you an honorary member. Is Kyle a teacher in real life? Says Chris Anderson. Professional. If you're talking about if I'm a member of a university or a school or I have a teaching degree, no. I've worked at a university, but as a research scientist assistant type person. But technically, I guess I am professionally educating. I'm a professional educator, but I don't have any certification. Just like I'm a scientist. You know what I mean? Praise and whatnot from Eyeliner Witch, who has the best eyeliner in the business. How do I know that? Because $49.99 proves it. Anyway, we are talking about Elden Ring, and we wanted to know how big trees could actually get in the universe. If you haven't watched the video, drop it a like, drop it a view. We worked with an interesting astrobiologist who gave us a very simple equation to estimate the heights of trees on exoplanets. It's fascinating. And if you've played Elden Ring, I think you'll find it funny because I make jokes. D.W. Jones says, you have a master's degree in science. I actually do have a master's degree, but it's in communication, with the major being science communication. So, I mean, I have a degree in science communication, and I do it for a living. So, does that mean I'm a teacher? No. Would I come to your classroom and substitute for a day? 100%. But it's going to cost a little bit of money. Ask your principal. So I was looking at the comments, Rob Johnson, on this Elden Ring episode. Don't look at my recommendations about these trees. I curate my recommendations very stringently. I hide everything on trending, basically. There are floating rocks in Elden Ring, Rob says. So if the tree incorporates anti-gravity material, anything is possible. Well, I don't believe... Well, I've never, ever seen a good argument for any anti-gravity anything. So I don't take that one. I don't tell that one. Jay Arrows with a $99.99 donation. I've liked the idea that wood is one of the more rare resources in our solar system. I like to wonder what handcrafted thing an alien would bring, ideally as a gift and not as a weapon. Yeah, that's I mean, everything in the solar system, everything on Earth is rare in the solar system that we know. Every biological thing is by necessity super rare. So trees, yes, wood, lignin is very rare in the solar system, but so is, hair, right? But that, Jay, with a 99, that is an interesting question. What trinket or gift would an alien bring that'd be like, this represents us and we want you to have it? Counterfactual. What would you, chat, what trinket would you give an alien that represents us and humanity? Would you rickroll them? They wouldn't get it. It wouldn't be funny. All right, that accent was pretty good, says Maxwell. I know. I've been working on it. Stefan, hello, Kyle. Really loved your Chernobyl vlogs. Anything about nuclear power. Thank you so much for your content. As of a couple days ago, the Russian military pulled out of Chernobyl. There's no longer any... I've got to go through some of these. Michael Brewer says, a gun. Cereal Box says, a Big Mac. Fidget spinner, Newton's cradle. Wait, what was he saying? Anyway, the Russian military has pulled out of Chernobyl as of a couple days ago, so I will try to get back on track in the next couple of weeks for reposting the Pripyat video and then going forward with our Chernobyl stuff. A dunce cap, a glow stick, PS5, teach them how to play Tiny Tina, a human skull, oil, a mug of beer, a loaf of meat, a Glock. The Domino's Hatsune Miku ad. The only resource we have is the type of life we have. Says Chaos X. Don't make me think about myself like that. Fidget spinner. Spit in their face. Cocaine. It'll be funny. Star Wars OG trilogy on VHS, says Bad Doodle. No, you can't get that. You can't get that anymore. A spork. You guys are dumb. One-time use plastic. Do none of you have an actual answer for this? Okay, while you're being dumb, I'll think of an actual answer. I'd give them probably... Maybe because you just said that tree thing, but like a mini biosphere, like one of those mini, with it's the earth encapsulated and peaceful, like dirt, sand, soil, moss, a tiny, bonsai tree or whatever they put in there in like a glass globe. Something that they could bring with them to study, sample, and look at and show off. Like, this is in microcosm what we found, our first contact. This is what we found. That'd be interesting, I think. It'd be better. Oh, Dr. Strange Joe from straight out of the facility says a copy of everything in the Library of Congress. See, that's not bad. They wouldn't be, we'd have to code it. I like what I said. Fancy Toast is probably COVID. Fancy. Get on my level. Prime Time says a bonsai tree. Right below that, a snow globe. Says pots. Combine them. Bonsai tree globe. That's basically what I'm getting at. Terrarium says pad. Yeah. Stefan Batiste says, shouldn't we send them a copy of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? No. The humor is far too British. They won't find it funny. I mean, it's hardly funny in the first place. Send them a cat, says Jordan Francis with the 10. Steve Vai's new Hydra guitar, says Skadisson. You nerd. I bet you have long hair. If you listen to Steve Vai, the odds that you have long hair that you need to brush, greater than 50%. Quote me on that. Nordic Alien Currency, says Sebastian, with the 200 SEK. One of my mods says, Kyle, why do you hate me? All these suggestions are crazy. She didn't say that last part, but Heather, you're welcome. I didn't pick anything yet. No one tell him he just spent 10 minutes doing gravity calculations on a game with gravity magic in it. Says, I don't even, scrolling right past it. Kyle says, I don't like Magic. Boo. Also, Kyle says, Magic is my favorite game of all time. It's not my favorite game of all time. It's just the one that I've probably spent the most money on. I love the idea of Kyle playing the game, getting so mad he started to think about the science of the Erd tree to calm himself. It was more like, hey, Elden Ring's popular. I should try to cash in on that. And it wasn't exact. I mean, I never cash in. I always, even when we do, and you know this, even when we do ads on the channel, it's always in the context of, I never do anything that I can't teach you something about. Know that. That's true. Give them a Furby. What is your favorite your favorite game of all time? Says Nick Munch. When you talk about the favorite game of all time, that's hard. Like, what's the most fun you've ever had? Versus, like, what game do you think is the best artistic expression of that medium? Because I've played games that are fantastic, but they're not fun. You know, like Super Mario is fun. Or not like, you know, Fortnite is a different game entirely than God of War. You know? But, ooh, a Tamagotchi. Not bad. I've been on the record saying, as for my favorite game for games as an art form in terms of the story, the gameplay, the graphics, the writing, and the performances, The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2 are what I consider to be the pinnacle. Enjoy that, Heather. Here we go. Lunar Delta says, I think 500 meters is a severe underestimation. When you get to the mountaintops of the giants, you're at or slightly above the level of distant cumulus congestion clouds, but it's obvious that the Erd tree is still massively higher than that. It's got to be several kilometers tall at least. Lunar Delta. Look at this on stream. I'm going to like that, and I'm going to heart it. Because I like where your head's at. You did not take what I say as truth, which you can always question my assumptions. That's what science is. And you looked at the types of clouds in Elden Ring to get an altitude generalization. I love that kind of thinking, Lunar Delta. For that, you are an honorary super nerd. Oh wait. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. 1 sec. Yeah, I said super nerd. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not trademark. Yeah. Well, that's a lot of money. Yeah, I'll cut it out of the VOD after it's... Yeah, love you, bye. Lunar Delta, you are now an honor... Bye. You are now an honorary member of the facility. And Kevin... Wait, where are you? Is gonna get you a plaque. That's, Ooh, what is that? That's a goblet made out of slightly glowing green uranium glass that's actually safe to drink out of? Sorry, Lunar. I'm keeping this for myself. Okay. Matterbeam says, I feel my super nerd title slipping away. No, that's for life, Matter. You know that. Kyle, with your height, have you ever seen yourself use VR or Beat Saber? Well, as we've gone through, I mean, just look at this. I mean, just look at my coffee mugs. As we've gone through, I am enormous. But we do have Beat Saber here at the facility. It is very fun. Did you get that car/magazine subscription, by the way, says Stefan? Don't worry about it. It is mandatory to like the video. Everyone who's liked the video, it is mandatory, so I don't actually have to thank you, because it is mandatory. But if you've done it, congratulations on being a good steward of my nerdery. So we have about we've been talking. I really enjoyed the little alien conversation because the streams that I like the most are where we kind of interact like that, where we go through it almost lecture style. What do you think this is? What would you do here? I think we've had more interaction in this live stream than a lot of other ones. So if you have enjoyed that, let me know by liking the video. I would give aliens a jar of rainwater. It says Headhunter. I kind of like that. That's not bad because water, maybe ocean water with all the little stuff in it, Headhunter, because that water so much defines what Earth is. It's mostly water. So are we. We can't survive without it. Maybe they don't have it. Not a bad one. Send them Ted Cruz. Seconded. Approximately how big or deep a hole would you have to dig connected to the ocean in order to stave off coastal inundation and sea level rise? This is Draco Eris with the 10 Canadian dollars. Oh, sorry. Like I was saying, we have like 1 or 2 more minutes or so before my throat gives out. So if any more comments, questions, corrections, let me know. People are still putting in their alien trinkets. What did you say? How big of a hole? I think XKCD has a what if blog about this. If you just put a giant hole at the bottom of the ocean, I would check ocean hole XKCD what if. Type that in. Who would win in a fight? Hank Green or Kyle? Says Joseph Wilson. I will answer by simply doing this. You see those? You see those? In relation to the size of the rest of my body? You see those? I mean, he doesn't want to do that. Hank. I mean, I'd probably never fight Hank, but, probably wouldn't turn out too well for him. That's a big peck boy. I was showing off my triceps, you dummy. I wasn't expecting free tickets to the gun show. I bet Hank Green's better at talking. I don't know how funny he is. I haven't spoken to him in person. But, I don't know. Oh yeah, chat. We're personal training 3 times a week and biking 10 plus miles the other a day, the other 3 times a week. You hit that point. I hit that point in the pandemic where I started waking up and feeling like crap every day in a row, in a row, in a row. You know what I decided to do? Something about it. No, not a gunfight, a science fight. I will... a lot of people saying, yeah. I will commit to chess boxing with Hank. This is fair because I don't know how to play chess. But Kyle, I never learned how to play chess. Okay, not everyone knows everything. So he'd probably beat me in chess, but I don't know if he'd get to the first round of chess. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What is the longest you've biked? Mine is 22 miles. I don't go for distance, actually. I have a set distance that I bike because the bike path is really nice by the facility where I'm at. And I go for the workout, so I go for speed. I'm basically speed running. Right now, my 10-mile time on my bike route is 34 minutes, 43 seconds. So, you know. Look, chat, look at us. We're talking for more than I even want to because I'm having a good time. That doesn't make sense. Chat, what did we talk about today? We talked about sending out a message to aliens. What would you give an alien as a representation of humans, Earth, contact? Comment below in the next 120 seconds after the stream is live. We didn't talk about that. We talked about Elden Ring. We made someone. an official member of the facility. We didn't give them anything because I wanted that thing. Draco Air says, I can't find that XKCD comic on the ocean hole. So I'm going to put this in the chat just for you because look, it took me 1 second, Draco. Like actually 1 second. So Draco, that's for you. And then, if you were interested, we had a great conversation about contacting aliens or not today. So what I'm going to do is, this is the PDF I'm putting in the chat right now. Boop. If you want to check out what we were just talking about, that second link will bring you there. We had a great time here in the facility. It's been a month since I've been here. Let's try to keep the schedule back on track. Next week, this week at the facility, I think we'll be finally doing an episode about rock climbing and the physics and the physiology therein. As you may know, if you stalk me online, I'm an avid rock climber, or I was, until I got injured for the third time in the same exact way. This video will be about rock climbing and that injury, which has an interesting aspect, interesting numerical aspect and physics aspect to it. After that, I told you we'll be talking about quantum mechanics very soon. A lot of cool stuff coming up at the facility. If you want to join us for everything that we're doing there, that's patreon.com/Kyle Hill. You get into the official Discord where I lurk and I send photos of my cats almost every day. You get videos early. You get behind the scenes videos like bloopers, like the one that will be going out tomorrow morning. But no matter where I see you, whether it's within the hollowed walls of the facility, whether it's on a live stream, a gaming stream, which I know I have to keep doing, a video in the comments, because I do read them. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, and even your year, as some acquaintances used to say. And until I see you next time, be nice to each other, because this is all we got. Until we meet aliens.